Charlie, yeah, I was joking, okay? I'm sorry. I'm just kidding around. I like him. Yeah, I like him. You know, there's something about him that makes me want to...
Lash out irrationally?
Where did you hear that?
From Neil. I learn a lot from him. He listens to me.
Yeah, and then he charges you for it. Welcome in to the Bro4 Squad podcast. That quote was, of course, from the Santa Claus, because it's Christmas time, and we are just a bunch of bros drinking eggnog with alcohol, obviously, and watching movies. I'm your host.
Eggnog.
But what if the alcohol's in it, though?
Yeah, you can have the eggnog back, and I'll keep the alcohol.
Well, no one wants just the eggnog. That's kind of the whole point. Anyway, I'm the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and before we get the movie discussion started today for our 96th episode, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. The voice you just heard is the mad scientist, Brian Banner. Banner, heading into the lab to you, I have to ask, blood alcohol is one of those things that scientifically is not like golf, where a higher number is better, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the NBA All-Star game. Like, just keep on going until you black out, and then you kind of want to actually play defense.
I don't think it's a perfect analogy, but it is an analogy. I'll say that. Next, we go to our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger. Geiger, I apologize. I wasn't able to go out on Black Friday with you this year, but any good fights at the stores that you got involved in?
Oh, yeah, man. So I was trying to buy this one thing, but then someone else fucking took it from my cart. And then I basically sent them a DM threatening to fucking murder them. This was all done online, though. People don't go to fucking stores anymore, Jeff. We're millennials. So I threatened to kill them online, and now apparently I'm kind of in a little tiff with the government, but it should be fine. Cycly's on it. I know he's got a lot on his plate right now because YouTube's trying to take food off our plate during the holiday season, but I think everything will be okay.
Not YouTube, but MGM and Paramount. Those motherfuckers.
That's true.
Snake bastards. It's so weird. I haven't looked up the number, but I did see, because normally someone dies on Black Friday every year, which still blows my mind. Like you said,
That's awesome.
Just shop from your fucking couch.
You kind of feel like, we support our troops, of course, but you kind of feel like what they feel like just for one day a year. Like, hey, I'm going to get this Furby doll, but I might not be coming fucking back.
It's weird, too, because every time I watch these videos, like, the thing that I'll see someone trying to rip out of someone's hand, it's like a kid's toy, and I'll be like, dude, I can go online and buy that for, I guarantee you, at least the same price as you're trying to kill that 8-year-old for, if not cheaper. But bloodlust is a real thing. I get it.
Well, it all depends on what mood you're in. Like, when I'm sober, like, you have to do a lot to make me fight you. When I'm drunk, I'll fight you over, like, a crayon.
That's why you're the enforcer.
Right.
All right, and you're always drunk.
Yeah, that's why you're always fighting. But we love you. If you have not listened to our show before, or even if you have, then you know that we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. And today's chest day, we are doing, what is this, our fourth one of these, Banner?
Yeah, four, 5. I don't know. Something like that. My pen's not working, so I don't know.
God, that really annoys me when that happens. But it is our movie month BroOff, where we pit 2 months in the history of time. And by history of time, I think we agreed like 85 and on or something like that. And those 2 movie months, we pit the top 3 movies at the box office from each of those months up against each other in a matchup to see which wins 2 out of 3 and which is the better movie month. And since it is December and the holidays, we thought, let's do 2 December months. So we randomly chose December of 1998 versus December of 2008. Now, Banner, since we're doing this kind of on the fly, we obviously have all the numbers. Do you want to explain the 3 points that each of the matchups will be going up against each other in?
Yeah, so we decided that first matchup or first category that we're going against is box office. How much did this movie make in its lifetime that was released in that month? So December of 1998, if it was released in that month, what was its lifetime box office? And we rank them that way. Second piece of criteria is the internet, you, the fans. But we didn't actually ask you because, let's be honest with ourselves, we're just too lazy to do that.
We didn't have time.
Yeah.
There's just no time.
We went to IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Letterboxd and
Letterboxd. Oh yeah.
Letterboxder, and we took those, pit them up against each other. Whoever wins that will win the point. And then if we have a 2-2 tie after that, then you guys get what we know you all love, and that is our opinion on which one of these movies is better. After we score all three movies, we'll see which year had the most points. Wham Bam Body Slam, that's the better month.
Yeah, so basically a month has to win 2 of the 3 matchups to be considered the better month. Correct. But we're still going to play out the third one because there are spreads on these things in Vegas. Obviously.
It's only
Geiger,
fair.
how much do you have riding on this tonight?
Well, I wish Banner would have, whenever he said, like, we had the fans vote, you should have said, and we give it back to you, the people. Like, fucking Bane style. And you accept Rotten Tomatoes examination of this movie.
Critics, do you feel in charge?
It's so great.
God, that's really good. Let's do an episode coming up where we just talk as Bane the whole time.
There was a Batman Day the other day on TNT. It was awesome. They played like every Batman movie. I just sat down and watched it. It was great.
Like Keaton's and the Nolans?
Yeah, and I feel so bad. Like after we saw The Dark Knight Rises, I kind of was weird walking out of the fucking theater. Me and Jeff both were, but now we definitely know that DC and Warner Brothers can do much, much worse. So we should have maybe just accepted it for a great movie. It really was. But
yeah. All right. Well, we digress, or as Peter Griffin would say, we digest. But the first movie month BroOff matchup, again, December 1998 versus December of 2008. The matchup is representing 1998, the tops at the box office that year.
Do we want to do tops or do we want to do third and work our way up?
Yeah, let's go third, actually, because that's what we do in the BroForce squad. We call audibles when we need to.
Hot route.
Banner, I'll tell them who is competing for 98, and then just to build the suspense, why don't you say who's competing for 2008? How's that sound?
Love it.
All right, the 1998 competitor, the number 3 lifetime at the box office from that month, the animated movie The Prince of Egypt. And Banner, who's it going against from 2008?
From 2008, we have Marley and Me.
Oh, what a tearjerker. No spoilers. That might have already been a spoiler.
That was kind of a spoiler.
Okay, so it is The Prince of Egypt versus Marley and Me. And before we get started, Banner, you brought up an interesting point. So there's really not many Christmas movies in here. And by not many, I don't think, well, maybe like half of one.
Yeah, you can make an argument that this has Christmas in it, a couple of these. But yeah, no spoiler alert, but none of these movies are traditional Christmas movies.
And did we kind of come to the conclusion that was just because they were released the month prior?
Yeah, most of them are released like the last week in November, which I don't know. Geiger, you probably love this because they're releasing Christmas movies around Christmas time.
It's a crazy concept.
Last week in November is fine because you want to eke out as much as possible, especially there's those families that really don't go to the movies that much that'll go to the mall the week before Christmas. Like, oh, this movie's been out for 4 weeks, but we haven't seen it yet. It's a Christmas movie. We'll go. I think that's smart.
It is. All right. Well, the first point is pretty straightforward. It's just total lifetime box office gross. And this one, as it looks like all the matchups are in this, was pretty close. So The Prince of Egypt racked up 218,613,000 and some change at the box office. Banner, can Marley and Me beat 218.6?
It can, with a whopping 247,812,011.
How did they get this to the exact dollar? I never understand that.
I don't know. I got nothing. I was gonna try to come up with something witty. I got nothing.
Geiger, are you surprised that at all that Marley and Me made more money than Prince of Egypt? We can get into the acting and cast of this. I mean, we're going to get into the plot and all that stuff at some point.
I don't think so because it was I can't believe this. To be Banner, it was a book. I'm almost positive of that it was a book.
Pretty sure it was.
Anytime it's a book and it's one of the best sellers, you're going to have that following go and see it. And it's something that girls can cry at. Women love to cry. And it's about a dog, and men love dogs. Perfect date movie.
Fuck
Prince
that.
Egypt,
I cried in it.
I did cry.
Have you seen Prince of Egypt's cast?
Yeah, I actually watched
I didn't
Prince of
know it was
Egypt
that
pretty
good.
recently.
Danny Glover is ninth build. That's how
Yeah.
good that fucking cast is.
I mean, Val Kilmer, Ray Fiennes, Pfeiffer, Sandra Bullock, Goldblum, Danny Glover, Patrick Stewart, Helen Mirren, Steve Martin, Martin Short. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a fucking murderer's row. And then Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince.
I mean, I know, yeah, I know it's animated, but still, man, that's fucking insane.
It
Wow.
just shows you in 2008, Marley and Me had Owen Wilson and Jennifer Aniston going for it. That's a tough combination to beat. About a decade ago.
Movie's about a dog, though. I mean, it's the American way.
It's not even fair. All right, Prince of Egypt trails 1-0 to Marley and Me. Banner, you're just the best at this. So why don't you reveal to the people what they thought? And by they, I mean the internet. I'm sure people listening have cast several votes on these movies out there.
I'm sure they have, but if they haven't, you guys should go vote. You can be the difference. Be the change.
I mean, it's too late now. So it's kind of
Well.
like North Korea the whole time. Like, doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, no, definitely.
All right. So we've got Marley and Me and Prince of Egypt on IMDb 7.1.
For which one?
Yes.
Both?
Okay.
Both of them are 7.1.
Holy
on
shit.
IMDb.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Damn.
Yeah. So
This is a problem.
this may be a problem, but we'll see. Between Rotten Tomatoes and Letterboxd, they may be able to break it. So I don't remember. Did we go audience score, right, on Rotten Tomatoes, not critic?
Because fuck the critics. Is what we
Okay.
decided.
That's what I thought. Aren't we a critic on there?
We're certified critics.
Yeah.
Our
But
dicks are big,
ironically-
whatever.
Yeah, like in a cool hipster way.
We wish our dicks
Um,
were small so we could relate to you, but they're not. So what do you want us to do?
What's that like?
All right. Prince of Egypt. Audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, 73%. It's not bad. That's pretty good for an animated
That's very
movie.
solid, yeah.
Yeah. For an animated movie that's not Disney even.
Yeah, maybe all this, it's just the Disney stands get on there and they're like, fuck a non-Disney movie. And that's
Yeah.
like the 27 that voted against it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do. But Marley and Me, audience score, 70%.
Wow.
Yeah, so still pretty close, but Prince of Egypt pulls that away. You guys want critic score just for shits and giggles?
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised the audience didn't love Marley and Me more. For some reason, I remember that movie could like do no wrong when it came out.
Yeah, I honestly think it's because it made people cry, and people are like, I don't like to cry, so I'm gonna bring it down a little bit.
Dare you make me feel things? Yeah, what's the critics score?
All right, critics for Prince of Egypt, 80%. Marley and Me, 62.
Wow, so the critics fucking hated Marley and Me.
The critics are what they call cat people.
Ah, no wonder I hate them.
So weird.
All right, guys, 1-1 going into our last subcategory.
Well, do we even need to say the letterbox rating? I mean,
Yeah.
that would decide the point, right?
Yeah, that
Oh,
decides.
sorry, you're
I
saying
understand what
1-1.
Letterboxd is, Jeff. So
I get what
Yeah.
you're saying. Basically the best website ever. So
Not really, but all right.
aside from Pornhub.
follow us on it
Yeah, do that.
or like us. What did it even do?
Is it a heart?
It's a follow. It's definitely follow.
Still better, but-
All right, guys. Letterboxd. Prince of Egypt, 3.7. Marley
Out
and
of
Me,
5.
3.1.
Woo! Prince of Egypt, that cast.
I can't believe Prince of Egypt is trending better than Marley and Me. I'm very surprised at this.
I am too.
I don't know, man. Maybe these Marley and Me people like just like talk a big fucking game and then they don't actually get on the internet and support their movie. Anyway.
Fucking bastards.
All right, so it's tied up 1-1 going into the last point where we will draw one of the Bro 4 Squad criteria and we will debate it among the three of us, whichever gets the 2 out of 3.
Acting, story, best scene, impacts on pop culture, and rewatchability. If you're a noob,
And it is impact on pop culture is what it comes down to. I got to say, as far as matchups we've ever done, have two films ever had less of an impact than the two
Yeah.
we're about to talk about? I mean, Geiger, why don't you go first? And we can even do personal
okay,
impact.
this is easy for me because one movie I looked at you with squinty eyes, like, was that a movie? And I was like, yeah. And then the other movie was like, yeah, I kind of remember that one coming out. So I'm gonna go with Marley and Me because I kind of remember that coming out a couple of years ago. So I guess it had more impact on me than the other one. I had to really squint my eyes and itch my nose and be like, oh yeah, that was a film. So Marley and Me, I guess. Rough.
Double entendre.
All right.
Banner, how about you?
All right, so I am going to go because the impact of this movie tried to change the world. And that's Marley and Me. Because how many dogs got rescued and adopted when this movie came out?
Ooh, good point.
I'm sure it was like 1 billion.
I saw a rescue mom tag on a car today. That's true.
Yep, and it was because of Marley and Me. It even said in fine print, I didn't support this until I saw Marley and Me.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just make it a clean sweep. Yeah. Marley and Me. Your reason is compelling enough for me to agree with it. And if we're just talking personal impact, which we made up the category so we can do kind of whatever the fuck we want with it. I bawled my eyes out in theaters to this movie. Unashamed.
It's hard to make me cry in a movie. It really is.
Yeah, that's true. Only other time I think I've seen you cry in a movie was Logan.
Yeah, I did cry in Logan, but that wasn't like a bawling cry. That was like just a couple of tears came out.
Or The Last Jedi, we all cried in that one.
That's true. Once the Luke sucked on the manatee's tit, that's when Geiger and I started bawling.
I'm like, this is over. It's done.
All right. So Marley and Me gets the first point of the matchup for December of 2008. They are up 1-0. The next two movies competing, starting from 1998, the second highest grossing lifetime at the box office, You've Got Mail, the Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan classic. And Banner, who's it going up against from December of 2008?
Gran Torino.
The Clint Eastwood movie.
Could you have two more drastically different movies?
They're basically the same. Is You've Got Mail the movie where in The Other Guys, Will Ferrell claims Tom Hanks has poison ivy up his ass?
Yeah. Like and then Wahlberg's like, I don't remember a movie where Tom Hanks had poison ivy. It was like, oh yeah, he had it way up in there.
Rewatch it. It's up there, all up in his ass. All right, box office gross, 1998, You've Got Mail actually did way better than I thought. It grossed $250.8 million at the box office. A romantic comedy grossing $250.8 million. That's impressive. Banner, can Gran Torino beat that?
It can by about $23 million. We got $273,543 million.
One thing I have noticed, looking at these, maybe it's just the first couple. This isn't a spoiler, but the dollar amounts are way more exact for 2008 than they are for 1998. Maybe we just got better at counting money.
Yeah, either that or we stopped paying taxes.
That's definitely what it was. I'm a little surprised here only because Gran Torino, hard R. Like hard R.
Yeah.
A lot of
it was
now.
Probably
not wide release. Maybe Netflix or Amazon Prime. Maybe.
Oh, Netflix would be balls deep in this thing.
Like a white Trump supporter killing basically threatening to kill Mexicans and African Americans is basically what it is.
And he's not shy about using racial slurs either.
I think because it was Clint Eastwood, people were gonna go see it because I mean he was the man back in the day.
He still is the man. Watch your fucking tongue, Banner. Show some.
I love getting riled up.
He doesn't look like he's aged a day since then, but I don't know if that's good or bad. Like normally, like, oh, you haven't aged in 10 years.
Starting to look a little like Al Davis, kind of like the crazy old skeleton man, but it's all right.
I'm like, oh, Al Davis, like back in 2008. He's like, no, now. I'm like, wasn't he been dead for like a decade? Yeah, he has.
That's why the Raiders are good now. Good-ish.
Gran Torino up 1-0. Let's move it to the internet. Banner. What do the people think?
All right, IMDb, You've Got Mail, 6.6. Not great. Gran Torino.
That'd be higher.
Yeah, I thought that'd be way higher. Gran Torino, 8.1. I don't think anybody would be surprised there.
IMDb, and this is fine. Like, I'm not gonna die on this hill, but they really hate romantic comedies. Like, if you go look at almost all of them, especially the classics, their scores are much lower than you'd think. Like a 6.6 is a D. You have to retake that class unless you're in college, you know? But that's just the demographic there.
All right, Rotten Tomatoes audience. You've got Mail 73%.
All right.
Not too shabby. Gran Torino 90%. Have we had anything that high yet?
That's insane. Get off the Gran Torino.
At the end, doesn't he kind of learn his lesson and kind of accept other cultures? Isn't that the point of the story?
His character comes full circle. In fact, he doesn't. He doesn't. Oh, that's spoilers for the movie, but so I won't say that. But.
I've seen it a couple times. I've seen it all the way through. I think once or twice, but I've seen it on TV a lot.
Yeah, I just don't want to spoil it for the people at home if they haven't. But look, go see it. It's a good character arc.
All right, so we already know Gran Torino has won this point, but for kicks and giggles, made that up.
Yeah,
all right,
shits would be inappropriate to say.
Correct. Redbox has it.
Letterbox, God, pay it its respect. Redbox is that outdated fucking DVD rental thing.
Yeah, whatever. You've got Mail 3.3, Gran Torino 3.7.
Wow.
What do you think the Redbox CEO is doing right now? He's like, God, I was red fucking hot 10 years ago, and now look at me. These fucking streaming services.
He's at a bar in like Orlando talking to someone. He's like, I'm telling you, we had Netflix, bro. We had them.
We were Netflix. You just had to, go to McDonald's to get it.
All right, so just to cover the spread, I say we draw one of the BroOff squad criteria anyway.
Let's do it.
All right. And it is acting and cast. So
wow.
We'll go to you first. You can just pick which movie you want to talk about first. And
this is so fucking easy for me. As a Western fan, you got to pick... I mean, it's Clint Eastwood. You got to pick Grant. Never mind. It's got Scott Eastwood in it. I'm picking fucking You Got Mail.
Listen.
Scott Eastwood ruins it for me. Because he's in this movie, I'm going to pick You Got Mail. Fuck him. And fuck him for being in Fast and Furious.
Listen, him getting that part had nothing to do.
It was because of his talent. He auditioned well to the director who was his dad also. Okay.
Yeah, it was Thanksgiving night.
He's like, hey, can you read a few
Scott,
lines?
You want to be my film? I mean, yeah, sure, Dad. I mean, I don't have anything else to do, so sounds cool. Can I at least leave by 3? I thought you said you had no. Yeah, well, I got things, but.
Talking about that cast real quick, though, B. Vang, the guy who plays Tao in the movie, never seen him in anything else, but he was really, really good in that. I don't know if he's a non-actor, which is a term that I've recently learned. And I thought it meant something crazy, but apparently it's like a thing in Hollywood to cast people that aren't actors in movies and then just like they have no intention of ever working again. I don't know. This is like a thing I've learned about. Like Jonah Hill did it for the movie he directed. It's super pretentious, I think, but...
So you just like walk up to somebody and go, "Hey, will you be in my movie?"
Yeah, Jonah Hill's movie mid '90s is like all non-actors, meaning like I don't really even understand the concept. It's just basically people that aren't actors and they're not going to be actors and they're not interested in it. It's like so fucking cool to these directors.
Chappelle's in You Got Mail.
I don't remember who he plays in that.
Dave Chappelle's it. Also, there's an actor called Matt Fox. Don't get him confused with Matthew Fox. Hey, I'm Matt Fox. Were you in Lost? Like, no, that's Matthew. I'm Matt Fox.
Did you even listen to what I said my name was? I thought I did.
I'm surprised you're not familiar with my work. You must not watch cinema.
Steve Zahn is in it. I don't remember him being in that. Greg Kinnear, Parker Posey. I mean, that's a pretty solid.
Fine.
And how hot was Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks?
God.
Has there been a bigger fall from grace
wise?
in the last 20 years than Meg Ryan? I mean, Jesus. It's like watching Chris Davis. Like, the decline is just so rapid. It's painful.
Well, that's what happens when you get off steroids.
You're talking about Meg Ryan or Chris Davis?
Of course, Meg
Yes.
Ryan. Chris Davis didn't take steroids.
Fucking great response. All right. So Gran Torino wins in a clean sweep. Oh, no. Yeah. I guess, well, we didn't even give it the last point, but it's a clean sweep. To give essentially December 2008 the victory now that it's up 2-0. But we got to play this thing out because there are spreads in Vegas. So, final two matchups. The top earners at the box office in their lifetime from these two respective months all started off December 1998. It is Shakespeare in Love. And Banner, who is it going up against from December of 2008?
Button Ben of Case Curious the.
I see what you did.
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Did you just make that up or did you hear that somewhere?
No, I don't know. I know I just made it up, but I'm sure other people have said it before.
It's because he lives. Do you get why he did it though? It's because he grows backwards. You see? So.
Yeah. He didn't understand his own joke, so just keep going. Let's just keep it going.
Oh, he understood it. All right. At the box office, Shakespeare in Love. Again, I am shocked at this number being so high, considering what it is. And just like movies were not as insanely big of a deal back then, and it was rated R, which is pretty nuts. But Shakespeare in Love did a whopping $279.5 million at the box office in its lifetime. Banner, is that enough to beat The Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
No, and this is honestly our biggest discrepancy of the 2 years. Curious Case of Benjamin Button made just under $230 million, which to me is an insane number. That movie is like 6 hours long, I feel like.
It's really, really long. I don't know what I'm more impressed of. I did too, actually. I think I remember seeing it like around Christmas, so it wasn't even like I caught up with it late.
It had a lot of Oscar buzz to it, just because it had anytime you can de-age or age an actor, it's got a big thing to it. But it was a good flick, man. I enjoyed it. It's not something I'd want to watch again. It's like dating that crazy fucking chick that has good sex. You're like, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I don't think I'd ever want to date her again, but it was fun while it lasted.
Definitely not bringing her home.
I do remember it having one of the best trailers I'd seen that year. I might go back and rewatch that tonight. Funny thing about this,
motorcycle and stuff.
And she's like, Benjamin, what are you doing here? And Brad Pitt's voice, I thought I'd come here and sweep you off your feet or something. It's like acting. I just pictured Peter Griffin saying acting. Benjamin, this is my life. Kate Blanchett was really good in that too.
Yeah, she was. She was fine. Quite enjoyed her.
All right, Banner. Let's take it to the internet.
All right, guys. Gonna be fun. Gonna be a fun one. All right. Shakespeare in Love, 7.1. Pretty high on IMDb. Yep. Benjamin Button.
Sorry, real quick. How many people went back after the Weinstein scandal and were like, "Oh, I'm changing my vote on that"?
It was just probably like a 9.5 a year ago.
Well, you got to pay for your crimes.
It is what it is.
Cut you off.
You're all right. Ben Button made got a 7.8 on IMDb. I'm sorry. 7.8.
Ben Button. What are you, like fucking college roommates with him?
Yeah, we go way back.
Ben?
Yeah.
I fucking love that
guy. God, man. We had this crazy party we went to.
All right, I'm really curious. So Benjamin Button is up 1-0 in the internet ratings. I'm really curious to see what the Rotten Tomatoes people think about both these films. I would not be surprised by anything, I don't think.
Okay, so audience, 80%.
For Shakespeare in Love?
For both of them.
Jesus.
Yeah, really close. So in this case, we've done in the past, there is a precedent for it. Learn that word from Cycly. When audience is tied...
hard word.
When audience is tied, we go to the critic score to break that tie. And Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 71% for critics. Shakespeare in Love, 92% from the critics.
What? Dude, this is such a critics movie.
It really is.
I thought Benjamin Button would be a critics movie. Actually.
I mean, 71 is nothing to slouch at, but a
No, I mean, that's
92? My God.
92 is ridiculous.
It's got Joffrey Rush in it, so he's just like, yeah, he was just a great actor.
He's a thespian. But one critic was like, I don't know, man, but that line in the trailer, I thought I'll come here and sweep you off your feet or something. It sounds like Jimmy Stewart, like after 3 whiskey sours. It's the way he said the line.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
All right. Going to Letterboxd. The better movie is Curious Case of Benjamin Button, coming in at a 3.5 over 3.2 for Shakespeare in Love. Really close matchup, though.
So Benjamin Button wins the matchup then.
Wins the matchup and just puts it to December of 1998 by giving the good big old goose egg to him.
Do we want to draw a Bro for Squad category, or is that pretty much all we have to say about Benjamin Button versus Shakespeare in Love?
Yeah, I think I have said all I need to say.
I have to say one thing. Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Marshall Ali's in it.
Oh yeah, he's the
Disney.
hang on, I have the cast pulled up. Taraji P. Henson's like husband.
Yeah.
But he like doesn't approve of Benjamin, right? If I remember correctly.
I don't remember. I saw this movie in theaters a long time ago.
I bet it was like December, maybe January of 2008.
Jared Harris is in it from Mad Men and Chernobyl.
Oh, nice. I feel like this has some Christmas themes in it. I'm kind of surprised it's not on TV a little bit more.
It's because it takes 8 years to watch it.
Yeah.
That is true. They're like, well, we could play.
By the time they'd put it in Christmas season, Jeff, it'd be February. That's why.
They're like, look, we could play A Christmas Story 22 times, or you could play Benjamin Button twice.
That's true. They're like, we could air all of our Christmas staples or just Benjamin Button. That's kind of a no-brainer, money-wise. All right. Movie month BroOff, December 2008, with a clean sweep of December 1998, winning 3-0. We will add it to the archives. If there's any 2 months you guys want us to do, let us know. We're going to keep a track of the standings. Eventually, we'll find some place to post it and link it when we have enough data. Right, Banner?
Yeah, the data is not quite complete yet.
Got it. All right, moving on to the next part of our show, which is our protein shake, also known as What Have We Watched Lately? It's a fan favorite. It's an us favorite. Can't deny it. I have...
People.
For the people! I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. 2 of which, one is going to go real quick, and one, Banner, you and I will do our, as always, mini review. I have 5. How many do you have?
Probably about 5, but I think 4 of them are going to go very quick.
That's what she said. Geiger, how about you?
I have 2. I think one of them, though, I think we'll all talk about.
Yeah,
the big
probably.
Netflix movie. I don't know. We've all seen it.
I have not had
No,
time.
I haven't either.
That one.
That's all
Let me just knock.
I'll pick up the slack. That's fine.
All right, let me knock one out first, and then we can do a little round robin. So, I saw Marriage Story on Netflix. Have either of you been made aware of this film?
I've seen it on there, but I have not. I don't know anything about it. Haven't watched it.
Directed by Noah Baumbach, starring Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. And Geiger, Ray Liotta is in this in a role that you would absolutely love. He plays Adam Driver's divorce lawyer. So basically the movie is about a marriage ending. Like the movie starts, Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are getting divorced, and they're trying to figure it out with their son, and basically like they have this kid together, so they're forever going to be linked. How are their lives going to work? And this, like, I'm torn between this and Jojo Rabbit as to what I think should be Best Picture this year. Both getting a lot of talk. This one was like, I'm trying to even think the way to describe it without sounding like
this should be Best Picture. This
movie. Watching this movie, there's one scene in it that was like, it hit me emotionally harder than any scene I've seen since. Because I don't count Avengers Endgame. It's different emotions with that. But man, dude, it was just like so real. Like the argument that the couple has, the shit they say to each other, I was thinking of shit that Adam Driver should say to Scarlett Johansson, and then he fucking says it, and they just, I can't even describe the emotion in this. It's just so real. Like if you've ever been with somebody who like you loved and cared about, and then it didn't work out for whatever reason, and you see how you just transform from like this person used to shit rainbows and sunshine, and now it's literally the thought of them, you want to fucking kill them half the time. That's what this discussion's like. And then when they say they're not going to get lawyers involved, and then lawyers get involved, and Ray Liotta has this incredible line, which is like so sad about divorces, but it's so true. He says to Adam Driver, he's like, well, we have to go for sole custody of the kid. And Adam Driver's like, no, we agreed, like, before we got lawyers involved, we were both going to get the kid. And Ray Liotta goes, listen to me. They're going to start from a point of crazy. If we start from a point of reasonable, we settle somewhere between reasonable and crazy. So we have to start from crazy, and we can settle at reasonable. And he's like, fuck,
That is true.
That makes total sense. He's like, if we start from a point of reasonable, where do we meet them? Halfway between us and crazy. I would recommend it. It's a little long. It's like 2 hours, 20 minutes, Marriage Story. But if you watch it, either of you with the misses, I guarantee you they will love it. And then it paints both of the people in the relationship as good guys at times, and then as super assholes at times. And if you want to have a really, really fun, like 3 glass of wine deep argument with your significant other, then definitely check it out.
That sounds great. And I love that you said that it's not, a male movie that's like, okay, this is the male side, the female's wrong, or vice versa. It's kind of, it's more of a humanistic movie. It's not, no one's wrong, no one's right. These are just people, they don't get along, and they're trying to, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I want you guys to see it so we can talk about it. The first 30 minutes, they definitely paint Scarlett Johansson as kind of the bad guy. And then the next 30 minutes, they definitely paint Adam Driver as the bad guy. And then the last like hour, you just kind of have to watch them try and figure this shit out. So it's definitely a drama. I wouldn't say it's a comedy. All right, Banner, how about you? What do you got?
All right, I have kind of went groupings this week. So the baby Banner is super into fish and sharks right now. Go figure. I don't know where she got that from.
What?
So
Cheers?
we are. Yeah, I don't know. The DNA test is in the mail, so we'll see when we get the results. We've basically been watching Finding Nemo and Finding Dory on repeat. It is insane to me how big of a discrepancy there is with how bad Finding Dory is, in my opinion, and how good Finding Nemo is.
So when I was at your house on Disney Plus, remember how pissed off I was getting because their icons to click on the movies look exactly the fucking same in Disney Plus?
Oh, as yours?
No, like the tile to select.
Oh, yeah. Finding Nemo, Finding Dory. Yeah, I mean, it's like playing Russian roulette. You never know which one you're gonna get.
So I've never seen Finding Dory. What's the real issue with that?
I personally, I just don't like it. I think that Finding Nemo was a great movie in itself. There is no need to give Ellen DeGeneres her own movie.
Wow, America will fight back.
Well, yeah, I actually like Ellen DeGeneres. I've seen Finding Nemo once, but isn't the problem because Finding Dory is just kind of the comedic relief, and it's hard to give the comedic relief a full movie?
Yes, and the whole idea is that she wants to go back and find her parents, and they end up going to an aquarium, and this octopus that apparently can live out of water for hours at a time and steer a stroller around this aquarium, and nobody's like, huh, that's weird, there's just a stroller going around.
Sure.
Can live out of water for that long. It's just, I don't know, not a fan of it. I think there's a couple parts that they'll make you go, huh, and that's about it. Where Finding Nemo, there's some really funny parts, some really serious parts, great character arc of Marlin, Nemo's dad. I think Finding Nemo is a really, really, really good movie, and Finding Dory is a money grab.
Look, I'll go on record. Finding Nemo is a good movie, but it is pretty overrated in general. So if Finding Dory is worse than that, I'm good. I'll pass.
I think it is, but I don't know. I'll let other people fight me for it. I think Finding Dory sucks.
Okay, so I have, because I want to give Geiger his time to talk about his main thing on Netflix. So let me see here.
Here, I'll go ahead and
Um,
go. I got one last thing. That's all I'm going to talk about.
okay.
So the missus decided, hey, we're seeing Star Wars next week. I want to go back and I want to watch all of them in order. So we started with Phantom Menace, went to Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, and now we're currently in the middle of A New Hope. Guys, it's a lot of fun. It really is because they're not good. They're not good acting. The dialogue is horrible, but they're so much fun to watch. I don't know. I can't explain it.
The prequels are great movies, and I'll fight anyone. I have a ball watching them. There's so
Yeah,
The Phantom Menace. I have so much fun
it
watching
is
that movie.
so much fun. Like, I would honestly put this up against anything. There are two scenes in that, or two parts of that movie that are top 5 parts of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, for
Duel
sure.
of the Fates and pod racing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
The
would
sound
only
design in the pod race is fucking incredible. Like the
And I
noises the
still
pod
think
racer
that
makes.
the movie poster when Anakin's walking in the desert and his shadows Vader is one of the greatest fucking posters ever. It's so good. And
And how
Revenge
many?
of the Sith too, man, has a lot of good. And I hate people's like, oh, it's not well acted. I'm like, dude, Ian McDermott in that theater scene is fucking legit, man. That's some Oscar-worthy stuff there. It's good acting.
Ironic, isn't it?
And Ewan McGregor is fan fucking
Oh, yeah.
tastic in
It's
this.
great too.
You think Natalie Portman looks back at it and she like wants to write a check back to Lucasfilm for some of the money she took?
So.
I don't think she gives a shit at all.
Is she the Randy Moss of acting? Like she's fantastic, but she like will take a lot of plays off and just try when she wants to.
But unlike Randy Moss, she would like not give effort on pass plays. Like the ball, we're trying to get you the ball and you're still not. It's one thing to just like stand there when if you know they're running it.
Last thing I'll say real quick. The last scene of Rogue One, my fucking god.
Love
I
it.
remember
If you
in
guys
theaters,
haven't-
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, kill them all.
If you guys haven't revisited that, just watch the last 5 minutes of Rogue One. It is perfect. It was everything we wanted it to be, and then it literally leads in 5 minutes later in real time is A New Hope. Again, very, very fun to watch that, and then basically watch the opening crawl of A New Hope, read the crawl that's describing what you just watched, and then go into A New Hope. Really, really fun.
One thing Cycly always brings up, which I think is hilarious, at the beginning of A New Hope, when Vader gets the Carillion starship with Leia on it, like into the Star Destroyer, he's like, "Where are the plans?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?" Vader should be like, "I just killed 15 of your men and watched them hand it to you. Those plans." She's like, "I don't really know what plans you're referring to." He's like, "I murdered half of the ship less than an hour ago."
Just women, dude.
Doesn't sound like us. There's blood on that window.
Oh no,
was-
that's the butcher's room.
I was already there, Vader. Come on. God, you're not responsible for everything.
It's ketchup. It's not blood.
All right, Geiger, why don't you share one of yours? If you want to save the big one, you can, but obviously if you want to.
No, I'll just go ahead and do The Irishman. So we're not doing a review on it. I guess this is technically a review, even though these two haven't seen it. But just really quickly, if you haven't seen it or if you have, guys, it's a 3-hour, 40-minute movie. So buckle in. If I were you, I'd watch it in 2 parts. I'd watch it on like a Thursday night and a Friday night if you work Monday through Friday. 45 minutes, I'm telling you, you're going to have to get through. And they've been showing Goodfellas, Casino, a bunch of Scorsese films on TV. I went in there expecting it like that. It's very slow to start off. It's very developing a story. I'm like, where the fuck is this going? But it's a true story, too, which is good. It ties in JFK assassination. It ties in Robert Kennedy. It ties in Jimmy Hoffa, who I had no clue who the fuck that was. I've heard jokes about him all the time. Like,
Is that the guy with
you
the money?
can't find the body. It's like Jimmy Hoffa. But Pacino plays him, and it's a very interesting story. The de-aging technology, I think, is good. Now, I know we're critics on some stuff and hard on some shit in movies. I'm not really too hard on that because I know it's kind of a new thing and they're trying to perfect it, but I thought it was really good because I haven't seen Pesci in so long. I don't really know what version of him is actually real in real life and what part is de-aged. I thought it was very good. It's a very good watch, though, and I will probably watch it again in the next couple weeks. Let me get through Christmas because I'm watching all my Christmas movies. But it was a really well-acted movie, and I think it will get some Oscar nominations and maybe win a couple things.
Question about, I've heard it time jumps a lot. Does
Very much so, yes.
So it's not like, all right, the first part of the movie is present
No.
day, or not
No.
present day, but like when they're older. Okay.
They're like the first part of the movie is De Niro and Pesci in a car going to see somebody, and that takes place probably in the 90s. Then it goes back to the 60s and then the 70s, and then it'll go to the 2000s. But you can kind of tell because of the de-aging technology, which I think is cool. Instead of putting it at the bottom, oh, this is 2010 now, it's de-aging technology. You can kind of tell. But I never thought, oh, what time zone are we in? I never thought that at all. It was very well done.
Is it 3 time periods or more?
4.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I think there's 4. It's really well done, though.
So was his
stuff,
quote...
as a JFK assassination historian, I know a lot about it. I studied a lot about it in school. It always interests me. There's about 3 things in here that I've never heard before, ever. And it was very interesting, some of the theories they had on it.
And it's true, all of it?
It's a true story, yeah. I mean, some of the things, what they're saying, I mean, that's up for interpretation on maybe who killed JFK. I mean, anybody can, fight that. But, I mean, yeah, Jimmy Hoffa actually existed and all this stuff, according to the person that they got from, because it's from a book, it's true by that person's account, yeah.
So the main thing I have to ask, Scorsese obviously has come out, bashing comic book movies, specifically Marvel recently. And I like Scorsese movies. Obviously, I love Marvel movies, but I've really enjoyed Wolf of Wall Street, probably his most recent thing. Obviously, he's heavily involved with Joker. I like that movie a lot. When you watch this movie, do you say to yourself, man, this thing is way too long, like it's really full of itself? Or do you think that everything in it kind of makes sense? Yeah, it's a long sit through, but it's not like gratuitous or like really just enjoying itself.
It's full of itself. The first 40 minutes could have been cut to 20. The middle of the movie, I'd say the bulk, like 70% of the movie, was great. But then after the big part happens that you're waiting for, that they're building up, then it drags on for another half an hour, and it basically just tells these stories. But it's just them kind of growing old and stuff. It's not really. I didn't really have to see it. It could have been at the very end, a black screen. When they do a paragraph on each character, it could have just been.
Yeah.
That.
All right. I figured it would be tough to have a movie like that, and you don't think that it's bloated runtime.
So
when I saw 3 hours 40 minutes, I'm like, I've never seen a movie that's 3 hours and 40 minutes where I could say you can't cut anything out. You could have cut a couple things out.
Yeah.
So that quote that Scorsese had, was that a couple months ago, where it was basically saying, hey, if you hate it, sorry, but whatever. What was the quote again? I don't remember exactly.
Oh, I didn't see his quote about the runtime on this, but
but didn't he just have a quote about the movie that, like, oh, if it's bad? I don't remember what it was. We talked about it.
Was he like telling people to suck his dick if they said like 400 minutes of movie was too long? That's hyperbole, obviously. I know.
I'll just say this: going to theaters and seeing this would have been tough.
Sounds like a nightmare.
3 hours and 40 minutes, man, to go see a movie that's not like Avengers that you've been waiting for 12 years. It's all been, but like, it would have been very fucking tough.
I just wouldn't do that to myself.
Yeah, I know better.
I don't think of anything I could do for 3 hours 40 minutes besides sleep.
Yeah, or sex,
Yeah, totally, dude.
Yeah, definitely. Totes my goats. All right. Few other things that I watched. Save the one for Banner and I. The Mandalorian season 1, episode 5. Check out our review. We're loving it, and I have some good theories on who that person is at the end of the last episode. Banner, do you? If I don't pick if none of the people we mentioned are it, without any spoilers, like then I'm gonna be pretty pissed, right?
I won't be. I want them to continue to expand this universe and give us more people. Um, so I don't think I would be upset.
Huh. You need to be mad with me. That's like what Star Wars fans do. Remember when they
Said
threatened
he
to
was
kill
mean.
that
Well, no, see,
kill
I'm
that
just setting
Asian chick
myself
in the last
up.
episode?
I'm just setting myself up for like it to be really disappointing.
The way they set it up though, it's gotta be somebody. Like
Yeah,
you don't film a
there's
shot
like
like
I'm
that.
like 80% sure we know who it's gonna be, but whatever.
All right, I hate to admit when you're right, Banner, but I watched Christmas with the Cranks. The
Great
Tim
movie.
Allen. It's
Right?
fucking good, man.
It's great when he steals Frosty.
The Frosty hostage negotiation earlier in the movie where like they're like just go into the basement and grab Frosty. She's like home alone and she calls Tim Allen. She's like, they're gonna
Dan
fucking
Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Yep.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
One thing I put though, so I think it was the last episode. It was last episode, Banner, right? Where the Twitter question we had was uh, things that happen in movies all the time that annoy us.
Yes, I believe that was the last episode.
And remember, mine was when one character tells another character, "I love you," and they just like hug them, don't say it back. The
Yeah.
beginning of Christmas with the Cranks, when they go to the airport with their daughter, Tim Allen does that, and I almost fucking turned it off at that point. I was like, "You piece of shit! Just say you love her back." That's my pet
And
peeve.
she's leaving for like months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for 2 acts of the movie, you know, which is even longer and harder to deal with.
It's weird. Women typically don't change their mind.
Yeah,
All right then.
I mean, I'm trying to get my ex-wife back, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say a bad thing about women. Last thing I'll mention before Banner, whenever you want to talk about that other show that we watch.
Okay.
I saw Noelle on Disney Plus, the Anna Kendrick, Bill Hader.
I had
Chris-
fun with it. It wasn't good, but I had fun.
I'll say this: it's harmless,
It is.
and that's not necessarily a compliment, but it just
Siskel and Ebert give it 1 thumbs up. Jeff Hornacek from the BroForce squad says, and I quote, "It's harmless." What does that mean?
which that's a weird thing to say because normally that's something like when like a girl is setting one of her friends up with a guy on a date, she'll say that, and then that just means the guy's ugly.
Yeah,
initially.
he's not gonna rape you. So
Yeah, he won't. He's not a domestic abuser. Like, well, should that really be even mentioned? That should just be like how you are always. Oh, well, no, he's not attractive and doesn't have a job. If that's what you're asking. Um, it got again not even whether I agree with the message or not. It got a little preachy. Would you say in like the second act?
Yeah, it definitely did.
It gets a little and not near enough Bill Hader in this thing.
No, but when he was good.
And can we talk real quickly? The guy the private investigator that she hires to help find Bill Hader, there is no one in the world that, not even the players themselves, that own that much Phoenix Suns gear.
No.
This guy has like 4 different fucking shirts that he wears.
The
a
only
hat.
other shirt he wore was an Arizona State shirt,
Right. I'm like,
which
we
I thought
get
was
it.
really weird.
You know, the costume designer keeps bringing up this shit. And they're like, why do you have this? And she goes, well, he lives in Arizona. They're like, yeah, he doesn't have to wear this every fucking scene he's in. Phoenix Suns gear or Arizona State gear. Or, you know, they were like, quit bringing Phoenix Suns gear. And she's like, all right, I fixed it. I got Arizona State gear now.
All right.
So,
When she goes and meets Bill Hader at the yoga store or at the yoga, what are they
studio.
called? Studio. Yeah, that part was funny. I actually laughed at that part.
When she blows out the candle and he goes, that's a big deal in here.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And is this our first piece of Disney trash? I think it is.
Disney
right?
Plus trash? Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely won't be the last, but
Yeah, I think that's a huge impact.
I think this is like, because I always call Netflix trash when I see it.
Yeah.
This was Disney Plus trash. And look, I don't want to be those guys, but the CGI on those reindeer was so lazy that I was actually kind of enjoying it.
Yeah. That's the thing. It didn't like, they were like, look, we're going to throw $8 million at this. Just do what you can.
Banner at 5 o'clock at his job. He's like, that's good enough. Gotta get a beer across town.
I'm not, if they want to put me on salary, then I'll stick around past 5. Otherwise, But I would be like laughing when the reindeer would show up, and my fiance was like, "Is this bad?" I was like, "It's atrocious.
It's so
Turn it
bad.
up." The movie's fine. It's just the CGI. I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
I have to
if
pee.
you
Will you
can't,
pause it?
yeah, the CGI. I always say like, if you can't do the effects, then don't do the effects. Just get a live reindeer to fucking
The
stand there.
idea of delivering Christmas presents like through Amazon Prime from Santa Claus, I thought was hilarious as well.
Billy Eichner's character was pretty good when he says, "By my stats, there's only 2,783 kids that were nice this year." I think everybody at the North Pole will be like, we can handle that workload."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
done.
most of them were in China. How many of those kids do you think were American?
6.
Probably. Good guess. All right, Banner, what do you got?
All right. So I think the last thing that we have to talk about is High School Musical, the series, right?
High School Musical, the series, season 1, episode 5, Homecoming. So our bet is over. Banner paid up like a true gentleman. So now what do we have to look forward to, Banner? What happened in this episode?
There was a fire music video in this.
Yeah.
Like this is their banger. I mean, it's got to be.
I'm gonna download it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it was a great this is a pretty good episode. This is where they go, okay, look, we have you hooked. We're gonna actually show you what we can do.
This is the first time the show took itself seriously.
And it worked.
Yeah, if they would have done it from the jump, I wouldn't even be watching this piece of shit anymore. But because they made fun of High School Musical for 4 episodes, all right, you can do like an actual High School Musical for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I wrote down a few things. First off, I'm a little embarrassed because, Geiger, I would love to hear how much we should kill ourselves in your opinion because of this, but I watched this episode on a Sunday, and my fiance and I called Banner and his wife, had them on speakerphone while we paused the episode and zoomed in on a text message that a character received and then debated what it meant.
I mean, you guys are so far up Disney's asses and doing everything. Like, I don't even know who you are anymore. I really don't even care.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We'll get to this in fan questions, but I have nothing else to say to you right now. I'm not angry. To quote Zac Efron from Neighbors, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
So I have a few questions for you, Banner, since Geiger is just going to sit there with his arms folded, as he should. So Ricky and the sophomore chick who looks like lettuce wrap Storm from the new X-Men movies.
Gina?
Will they hook up?
So I'll one up you. I think at some point Ricky is going to have to choose between Gina and Nene.
Wow. What would you choose?
I don't know, man. That's tough. That's tough because I don't know.
I mean, I know what Matt's going to say. If you're in high school and you're choosing between getting back together with your ex-girlfriend or dating a new chick, I mean, it's a pretty simple choice, right?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Geiger's like, what's the debate? I don't understand.
So there's options. What's the other option?
Yeah, which one is here now?
When
I want to
were
know.
you gonna? Well, I just told you. I just told you right now. When were you planning on
Yeah,
telling
but
me?
telling me now isn't the same as telling me. I don't understand. Sorry, Banner. I think I cut you off. You're gonna one up me. You're gonna one up the stakes.
No, that was my one up.
Oh, okay.
Ricky's
So
gonna have to
speaking of
pick
that,
between the two.
speaking of Gina and her plan, which apparently wasn't even a plan, will Nene be jealous enough of EJ and her that they get back together?
I don't know. Maybe. Is that can I leave you with that? Maybe.
You can. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know. I think EJ is gonna just go and say like, look, I will do whatever I have to do to get laid again. So like, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? I will do whatever you want, and they will get back together.
I don't want to live in a world where the co-captain at East High of the water polo team can't get the chick he wants. I don't want to live
Disgusting.
in that.
It's a disgusting world. I mean, we have to be the change, guys.
That's true. 2 more quick questions. This last one. Miss Jen's text messages. Banner and I zoomed in. Apparently, she was supposed to chaperone the homecoming dance, and she didn't. Will she get fired, Banner?
I don't think she will. I think she is going to come up with some weird excuse that she was making sure that the show is going to be great by making sure Nene, is in good spirits. So I don't think she's going to get fired, but I think she's going to be walking on thin ice now.
I agree. And sidebar, how inappropriate is it that her Friday night consists of hanging out with her students? Like out in
More
public.
more sidebar. What kind of fucking bowling alley also has karaoke?
Dave and Buster's was watching that like, why didn't we fucking think of this? Both of these things. Last question, and the big one. Is Zeb cheating / lying to Carlos about his cow dying?
I think so.
Geiger's listening to this like, what the fuck is happening in this show?
This is not the podcast I helped create.
I want to start doing each week. We ask Geiger these questions, and he never has seen any of this, and he has to answer.
I love it.
It could be a fun game, maybe.
All right. That's all I had, Banner. Anything you want to add or you want to turn over to Geiger to end Protein Shake?
I think we need to turn it over to Geiger before he just explodes this pot up.
Pretty close
on
to the YouTube
Hulu,
channel.
I've heard of this movie. I just never saw it, and I pressed play, and it's fucking great. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
I tried
Zac
to get
Efron.
through that a few months ago. I couldn't do it.
Are you serious? I loved it. I thought it was great. Efron can do no wrong for me, and Anna Kendrick's in it. It's a very good story. I thought it was very well done. And the other thing on Hulu, guys, if you're not caught up on the South Park season, it is fucking fantastic. They've redone the intro. So every intro is different. They got Integrity Farms. This latest one is just a Scott Malcolmson episode. It's like Scott Malcolmson's James Bond. And what's great is his dad works for the cable company. So his dad won't allow him to have like any streaming services. So Scott Malcolmson meets a new girl at school who also has diabetes. And she comes over and she wants to watch Disney Plus The Mandalorian. And then finally his dad, so every time he calls a meeting with other people that work in the cable company, he's like, okay, let's meet from like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. because that's like what cable companies do. And like someone shows up at 3:30, he's like, well, we had till 10. Like just because I say from 10 to 3 doesn't mean that you need to show up right at fucking 3. Like it's anywhere in between. And then he finally figures out that streaming services need internet, which is basically the cable company. So if they shut those off, then everyone loses their streaming service. So they need the fucking cable company again. This season is fucking great. And it's so refreshing how if you watch The Simpsons or Family Guy, both great shows, but after a while, it's just the same thing over and over. South Park totally reinvents itself like every season. And it's perfect. It's genius. And this season's fucking great. It's really good. If you haven't watched it or you were in with the PC principle and you haven't watched it for a while, go catch up. You will not be disappointed.
I always went back and forth on whether South Park would be less rewatchable because it is so topical. But like I'll go back and watch older episodes like the World of Warcraft episode, and it's still as fucking hilarious today as it was.
Randy's Blockbuster with the Shining episode is fucking great.
Oh my god! And they go trick or treating, and Stan has to be on the iPad the whole time because he has to stay at the store.
Bat Dad, I know what you're saying, Sharon. I don't. It's like no, you just don't have to make an ass of yourself at Little League games. You don't think I want to win? Think I want to win, Sharon.
You're saying I don't have to fight because you know I have to fight. No, I actually just you don't need to. Awesome. What is this, like season 23 or something of South Park?
No, they're all great though. Big South Park fan here.
What's that, Peter?
Is that our parrot?
Sounds like the Kazooie and Banjo-Kazooie.
You have a lift, bro.
And that is Banner taking us into the last part of our show, our question and answer segment titled, Do You Even Lift Bruh? Where we dig up a question from the internets and talk about it on our show. And today's question comes to us from The Rise of Skywalker at John Snolo, which is all awesome. And he asks, is The Mandalorian a Western? Pretty straightforward, Banner.
I mean, yeah, they said it's a Western. So,
Oh.
I mean, it is. So there's no getting around that. But if you actually want to like critically do it, the score feels like a Western. The way that it's shot feels like a Western. I feel like a lot of
The Magnificent Seven homage episode.
yep. Yeah, there's a lot of characteristics that if you guys ever go back and watch like old Gunsmoke shows, like my mom loved Gunsmoke. We always watched it when I was a kid. This feels like Gunsmoke.
Yeah. Just I'll say this. I know Geiger's a big fan of Westerns, but this to me is like the Star Wars that I've wanted for a long time. And I love obviously the space element.
A
That's
little
what I fell
little
in love with as
grittier.
a kid. Yeah, there's like this whole part of the universe though that like every time we visit it, I'm like, dude, you know it'd be cool if like we got to see a little bit more of this. And this is the perfect avenue to do it. They don't have to spend $300 million on it. Geiger is the Mandalorian of Western.
So I'm the Western guy on the pod, me and Nate Thurman, and I'm not sure if he's seen Mandalorian or not. And
Balls
Brian,
deep.
fun fact: the sheriff on Gunsmoke is Matthew Dillon, and that's who I'm named after.
Oh,
That's
hell
why
yeah.
they named me Matt. However, after The Last Jedi, on this pod, in the world, there's so many people that fucking hated that movie, and we drew a line in the sand and we said, fuck you, Disney, for fucking up Star Wars. We're never going to go back again. And you know what? It seems like ever since Disney got breast implants and some Botox lips, everyone has jumped that line in the sand and got Disney Plus and watched the show. I have still not watched this show. I've not bought Disney Plus, and I don't plan on seeing The Rise of Skywalker because I'm so pissed off about what they fucking done to my Star Wars. So I've not seen it, but I'm really close to buying it because if you guys say it's a Western, it's really fucking cool. I'm really intrigued on seeing this. And you say it's a Star Wars you've always wanted, but it's almost like it's too little too late. Like why didn't you guys do this like right off the bat?
Yeah.
But I'm really intrigued about seeing the show. But it does, everything I hear from it sounds like basically a space Western.
Two things I'll say to that. Number one, Ryan Johnson is not touching this, so you at least have that to rest your laurels on. And number two, I didn't say fuck Star Wars, I said Ryan Johnson, and I held true to that. I didn't see any of his movies until the next one came out in theaters.
I'm just saying, Kathleen Kennedy had her hand on the butt. Listen, if no one stands up for what they're believing, everyone talks shit whenever the movie comes out. Then once the next one comes out, they're the first in line.
No, I know. I
just
was
wanna
being
be the person that
sarcastic.
stands by the
I saw Knives Out the day it came out. So I said fuck Ryan Johnson, and then I spent
Was it
$50. It was pretty good.
I've heard nothing but good things.
But that's his do your Ryan Johnson shit in that movie. Don't take my Star Wars and fuck around with it. It's like the guy that like like tries to add an extra ingredient to every dish. Well, when we order Pizza Hut, don't fucking throw that shit on top of it. Do that when
Steak's
you
good enough, dude. You don't have to like add stuff to it.
Exactly. Now, if we're cooking like tofu, yeah, go for it.
I had Parmesan dusted pork today, and it was like the greatest thing I ever tasted. So maybe add Parmesan to it, but other than that, it's fine.
What's the Star Wars equivalent of Parmesan? Figure it out, It's not my job to do. All right. This is a great one, guys. Happy holidays, whatever holiday you celebrate out there from the BroOff Squad podcast. Before we leave the people for our 96th episode, Geiger, anything you want to add?
I got to pee. And that's not quoting Forrest Gump. I really do got to piss. So happy holidays.
Must have been all them Dr. Peppers. Banner, how about you?
Just make sure you pull over for emergency vehicles.
Definitely. Especially around the holiday season, man. Like,
Yep.
stuff could be happening. A lot of extra people on the roads because you're off work.
Yep. We know that people happen to get stabbed at Christmas dinner with the fork. Shit happens, but just be responsible and pull over so that they can get to the hospital faster.
Very true. Very well said. And I believe New Testament that you're quoting?
Middle Testament.
Middle Testament. Great one. All right. For our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, and the mad scientist, Brian Banner, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the BroOff Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Follow us on Twitter at BroOff Squad. Find us on Letterboxd. Type in Bro Force Squad, 3 separate words to read all of our reviews. Take those same 3 words, type them into iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, and subscribe to us there, and check out everything on our website at bro4squad.com. Till next time, we will see you later. I wonder if Geiger is also good at ping pong as Forrest Gump is.
Maybe. He could probably run a lot too. Although probably no, because he's so fat he won't run.
He's obese and disgusting. I forgot about that. Out of sight, out of mind.